Christopher Inks. How are you, my friend? It's been a long time. It's always great to catch up with you. Welcome back. Waiting for you to unmute. Let's see. Here we go. Asked unmute.
Unmute. Okay, there we go. Can you hear me now?
Got you, Chris. How have you been, buddy?
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, I've been pretty good. And you might be hearing some thunder or something going on here. We've got some pretty crazy weather coming in. So I apologize ahead time if I get knocked out here.
That's all right. Where are you, San Antonio?
Yeah, just north of San Antonio in Bernie, Texas.
Okay. Yeah, we one of our guys is in San Antonio. Okay, so here we are. I was interested in getting your count, and I agree with it. I guess I'm trying to fine tune where the next long entry in the dollar would be. I don't think it was Friday. Do you, Chris? We held above a fib level. I was looking for 91.45 or so, and you have some levels underneath. What do you have there, buddy?
Yeah, well, so with what I've got here, I'm not sure if we've got a low in here yet or not. I've got it marked as such a moment here. Let me zoom in. Well, so real quick, here's the big picture. I mean, a lot of people aren't into the whole Elliott wave thing, but I think we've got a great case to be made here for a potential double bottom coming on.
Yeah.
So we just got to need to break out above this this swing high right here, right around that 93.47 or 43 area.
Yeah.
And, if that confirms, we stop as we should normally do. We found resistance right there. We pull back. So if we're breaking out, I mean, pattern target gives us this move back up here to around 97.62 up here. And for me, that's important because it takes us above this, my wave 4 I have over here at 94.74. And if we're getting above that, that's kind of a good first confirmation that this bottom is probably in here. And
for even higher levels after it achieves 97, or is this rally to 97? I know a lot of people are looking for this just to be a bear market rally to the 95 to 96 level, and then we're heading south in a big way. You're not seeing it that way.
I mean, it's definitely possible, but I think once we're popping up above that wave circle 4 over here, I think once we're getting above that, I think it's harder and harder to call it a bear market rally. It still could be, again, at that point, we're still only looking at that 1, 2, and a third there. We need that fifth wave coming in, but I think it's really what the dollar's done since January. I think has really kind of caught people off guard. Me, I've been dollar bullish for a while here. It took a little bit longer to get there than what I had anticipated, but these larger macro.
Yeah, 91. Check out my memory. 91 was your critical pivot point.
Yeah, right.
Am I right? There, yeah. From like 4 months ago when we talked, 91 was a big number.
For this recent one here.
Yeah, for the dollar. Yeah, you said we start getting back above 91. So we shouldn't take out 91 on this correction, should we?
I don't think so. I mean, I think if we zoom in here a minute, let me see. Yeah, I don't think so. We've got this. What I call it this daily demand structure in the blue here.
Yeah.
And I think we should hold right there. Now, obviously, if we're dropping below this kind of this swing low over here at this 91.5, that means the count, we're going to invalidate the count here because we've got this as a 1, 2, 1, 2 right now. But even if that, it doesn't necessarily mean that things are up and over with yet. So, I think we kind of just see how this plays out here. Last week, dollar kind of went down a bit. Took a break after going up so much. So we'll kind of see if it can kick in now at this point, because if we're doing this now and just breaking out of this descending channel here, I think we're headed up to new local highs here, heading up higher.
Okay. So the dollar, if my buddy Ben Maldonado is in the room, he calls the dollar the wrecking ball. Okay. So if this count is right, is it going to wreck everything?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, I think the dollar it's been the play, especially since the beginning of the year when we had that what may end up becoming that macro low down here at the beginning of January. At that time, somewhere around that time, we were talking, and I was discussing about how the dollar bears were so offsides. It was something like
Yeah.
94%, bearish or
Bearish.
something.
Yeah.
And
Now
how
it's
that
kind of
usually results in
neutral.
a reversal.
It's kind of neutral now, isn't it? 50% hanging right around neutral.
Yeah, yeah. People are starting to kind of get a little curious because now, they've been trying to short this, still coming off, this high here, and here we are back
Yeah.
up here again. And now they're like, well, if we break out,
Yeah. Okay. So the recent high we have didn't take out the high that we had back in the beginning of the year or last year. So, yeah, the bears would probably have their stops there. So, let's see, kind of have your picture in the dollar. I'm assuming it's going to be pretty negative for precious metals because
yeah,
they've
again,
been
I
under.
haven't really even changed anything.
Yeah.
My gold count, I'm still looking for it. Let me zoom out here a bit for anybody maybe hasn't seen this yet, because this usually puts people on their anger issues.
Oh, yeah. Like calling for lower Bitcoin does to people.
Yeah, exactly. People get real personal about it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm still looking for this move down here to 1,000, maybe 900. We'll see what goes on at this point. We had a good bounce coming off here, but I've still got it potentially headed down lower. So if we get a little closer here, let's see here. Yeah, let me see. I haven't checked
Will
this yet.
gold hold up better than silver? Because the gold silver ratio made a bit of a move in the last 60 days. It's kind of given it back a little bit here. But okay, so what are you seeing here? Let's stay with what you're.
Well, right now I've got this as potential. Let's see, we're now as of last week.
Yeah, okay.
This is a 4 dropping, prior to this one here, but now we're dropped into it. And so if I'm looking here, let me see, it looks like maybe an ABC down. What do we got here? Yeah, this may still be wave B playing out potentially here. So ABC down, ABC up, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, we'll get 5 down if there's a flat correction right here. And
Yeah.
then kind of move on up here toward, 1848 or maybe 1860.
Okay.
Maybe kind of hits this little cluster of supply up here.
Okay.
And unless we just kind of lose this low down here, this 1750. If we lose that, then I see this as a 1, 2 here.
Yeah.
And so that would just be done, I guess, right in this area here. If we do lose this swing low over here, but until then, I think we maybe just have this flat correction. So bring this back down a bit, and then back up to finish it out, and then head back down. I don't see anything overly bearish with the dollar, and so that makes it hard to see anything really overly bullish with gold and whatnot. I think people, most of their trading based, their precious metals ideas is this whole thing about inflation and
Yeah.
I think it's a misunderstanding of what's going on. They say, oh, the Fed's printing,
Yeah.
trillions of dollars and whatnot. And so there's all this inflation. But I think this inflation that we're seeing in prices, other than asset prices, QE is deflationary. It's meant to raise asset prices.
Hmm.
But, the real inflation that people think about and they talk about is actually what's created at the bank level. When you go in and you get a loan at the bank. And so we're just seeing a little bit of a rise in that recently, but for over the last year, basically, that thing shut off. Banks are still real nervous about loaning out right now.
How about higher wages? That's not very transitory when it comes to inflation.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I just think, I don't think people really get it. I think they're just, they see, oh, the Fed is going to put all this money into QE, and they immediately think, oh, that's inflationary and everything's going to go up. I mean, there's so much talk of hyperinflation on, across social media. And I just think it's kind of ridiculous.
What do you think about the problem of all these banks having too much cash on hand and all the reverse repos that are going on?
Man.
And I believe the Fed set up some type of facility for the banks to offload that extra cash and backstop a money market account.
Yeah,
What's
exactly.
going on there? What's going on?
Well, and that was well, I'm glad you actually brought that up, because that was something I wanted to mention real quick, was that, so, again, if inflation is the banks creating loans, right? Not the Fed. It's the banks creating the loans, right? Because the money the Fed makes doesn't actually go out of the markets. It, hits your primary dealers, and then it becomes this asset swap thing with treasuries. And so it's just really a ledger thing. But the banks are flush with cash. We know that because we hit $1 trillion on the reverse repo, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to ask yourself, well, if everything's fine, why are the banks not loaning? Why are they instead choosing to take this very, very small little bit of interest they're going to get on this reverse repo? And I think that's the big thing that's kind of going on at the moment right now, because if things were as great as everybody wants to believe they are, and if the economy is doing so well, then why aren't banks loaning? They're just taking that money and doing, now we've got that permanent reverse, that whole reverse repo thing going on, and it doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah, I've never heard of too much liquidity being a problem. It's usually the other way.
Yes, exactly. And so, I think that's the big thing. I think you have to kind of ask yourself, well, if that's going on, why is that going on? Maybe what we're hearing, maybe what social media and, all the armchair economists out there talking about, inflation and incoming hyperinflation, all this, maybe they're mistaken. Maybe they're not understanding. Maybe the money isn't, being printed like they think to get where they think it's going. And so I think that's all going to be dollar bullish then.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's see what your counts are in stock indexes since we last talked. I don't know how many more successive new highs we've made in S&Ps and NASDAQ. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's the never ending. Every time you think there may be a top, it just kind of gets a little bit extra. But it's I think it's become quite stretched. Locally here, I'm looking at the possibility that we've got this flat correction going on here. So ABC down here for A, ABC up for B, and then 5 down for C. That would give us this wave 5 of 3 up here, just around the 1 hour R2 pivot there at around 44.50. But if we zoom out here, the bigger picture, I think, is just kind of this right here. And so, I mean, if people want to look at this and go, okay, well, what am I looking at? Well, I'll tell you what, if you see an impulsive breakdown below the pivot here on the daily, I think that should get your attention and pay attention to it.
But where is that coming in, Chris?
That's coming in right here at about, let me see, right there around 43.50.
Okay.
Right there around 43.50. Yeah. So, okay. And by impulsive breakdown, what we're looking at for is some expanding volume and larger candle spreads coming down through that. Yeah. It's not in itself a signal that some kind of top may be in, but the fact that we're moving in sideways between the pivot and the R1, if we lose that pivot on that, you're going to want to watch this wave circle 4 right here at the 42.24 area. And if we can lose that, then that starts opening, the move down, because that that just kind of closes off. This is done, 5 and done here. But
okay,
I mean, there's what it is. I mean, it just keeps on kind of grinding up.
Yeah.
And we saw
all kinds of all kinds of divergences with this. What's it's a daily? Yeah.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
Yeah, we've been diverging since when? Last fall.
Yeah, exactly. And then we kind of restarted once again right here around April, around tax day, original tax day.
Right.
So yeah, it's we'll just play it long until it goes down.
Okay, and view on what else is on your radar. You have a feel for Bitcoin. Is this a bear market rally, or was that the low under 30K?
So this is a good thing here. So I kind of made a bit of noise. I do a couple of public live streams every week. Yeah. And right up here around this February through April area, we had a lot of, you may have seen, I don't know how you could have missed it, but a lot of the whole laser eyes and diamond hands and have fun staying poor and all this kind of really euphoric retail stuff. Right.
Yeah.
And I was warning pretty strongly there that, hey, listen, it doesn't have to be the top, but it's going to be some kind of top most likely coming here, because just retail thinks that it can't ever end. They think, they mock anybody that's talking about a possible pullback. And, sure enough, we get it here. And so now the question for me is this area up here. It's do we have a 3 and then a B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we get this large flat correction here.
Mm-hmm.
And so then this becomes 4 in the bottom and we're up. Or is this basically an ending diagonal here, a rising wedge? So you get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. And then this just becomes basically A. It's 5 down for A. This becomes A, B, C up here for B. And then we're headed down to at least 23, potentially this 19,000 kind of area, at least. Yep. And so we don't, I don't know if we know which one it is yet. Again, looking here from, sorry about that. Got all these weather alerts going off. But we had this really good move up here. And so right now, again, we're kind of at that same area as what I was just talking about over there on the E-minis over there. We're moving in between the pivot and the R1. So we're pulling back here. As far as the daily goes, we've got all this demand in this wick right here from the 30th of July.
Yeah.
And I want to see that hold. If I can see that hold and we can get a new high here, I think this just becomes the bottom potentially down here. And then this is 1, and then a flat correction here for 2. And then this becomes a 3, 4, we got a 5 heading up. And I think that becomes the bottom there. Now, when I'm looking at this, as you can see, this was my target up here, and we kind of went right up into that, which was great. But when I look at this larger range right here, what I notice is we've got a strong bit of volume coming at the beginning. We've got this spring that sets up in here, much less volume.
Right.
And then we have what basically becomes, you've got a test here of this spring. And that volume's really low. And again, coming on over here,
even lower.
Really low. Yeah. So there's no real interest in selling at those levels. And then we were followed here with this great, bullish engulfing candle here in this takeoff. Yeah. And so if I'm looking at that, I mean, you expect the pullback here. It's the top of the range.
Right.
But I think it starts making a real good case for a potential bottom to be in. But what we're going to have to see is another higher high coming off here so we can get this, again, as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kind of thing moving in here. Okay. So I think, if you're in Bitcoin, I think if you're seeing, again, an impulsive breakdown below this daily pivot, I think that's your first clue to pay attention. It might be just an ABC here, as I have. So this A, and then this B is this flat correction, and then a C up here. And so that just finishes, again, your A, your B, and then you're going down 23 minimum, potentially 19 or even lower as it does that. And I think that would just kind of really catch some people off guard. But I'm not convinced yet that that's going to happen. I'm open to it, but I'm not convinced yet.
How about WTI? It's been relentless.
Oh man, I'll tell you what.
And you're a Texas boy, so I know you follow oil. All right.
Oh yeah. And it provided some excellent opportunities, some excellent money to be made here.
Yeah.
In the past few months with the USD loonie. Right in that dollar strength in that. And so right now, potentially I've got us as a 1-2, 1-2, but we're coming up pretty high here. So we're going to see if we can get this impulsive breakdown here that takes us below this swing low right here at 70.5, basically 70.56. Okay. If we can get below that, I think then this is this 1-2, 1-2, and we're heading down to, the 40s. This just finishes wave A up here.
70-50 line in sand.
That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for right now. But, this has gone up a bit more than I thought it would. So I'm definitely open to it potentially heading up higher into the 80s maybe before we finish off.
What do you have 2 at a possible 2 up there at where is that, 76, 78?
So right here is right there around this 2 or the first 2 over here? This one?
The one to the right.
Oh, this one over here that we just had?
Yeah, where you have above it, you have a you're thinking maybe we could test the underside of the broken trend line, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's possible, but if it goes above this red line, which is this other wave 2 over here, it's 75 and 52. If it gets above that, then that invalidates it. It looks like we may have just an ABC down, and we'll head up into the 100 maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So, best way for people to follow your excellent work, Chris.
howtotradetowin.com, man, or they can follow me on Twitter at TX West Capital.
Thank you so much, my trading warrior brother. Always great to hear, a bear that also, knows where the case changes. And thanks for providing some lines in the sand for us in, S&Ps and gold and the dollar and WTI. So very nice interview, and thank you for sharing I know you spent a lot of time on research and getting your counts. So I appreciate you sharing it with us, and I recommend that people follow you and check you out.
I appreciate it, Dale. Thank you.
All right, buddy. So, well, we'll be talking in the fall.
Sounds good.
I'll leave you a note on Twitter. Okay, buddy.
Awesome. I appreciate it, man.
Okay, Christopher Inks at Texas West Capital, where you could find him on Twitter. And that's going to be a wrap for us today. See everyone for Turnaround Tuesday. Good hunting the rest of the day, and you could join the team. And I'd call it about 22 minutes on the morning edge. Remember, don't just count your waves or anything else. Count your blessings. You're very welcome, Hugo, Alexander, Ingmar. They're thanking you, Chris,
Yeah, I
and
appreciate it.
that's a wrap for us. See you tomorrow. Adios. Stay safe, Chris. Don't
Thanks,
get
Dale.
blown away, bro.
All right.
Okay. See ya.
Bye.